If you've never met me before, hello. My name is Tay. I started my very first business, not even coaching, my very first business back in 2016. I was 7 months pregnant. I was on WIC. I had $100 to my name and I had already wrecked my credit. I was 23 years old and all I knew was I wanted to stay at home with my kids, my daughter. I did not want to put her in daycare. I literally couldn't afford it. I was back then married to somebody in the military. And I was like, I'm just going to quit my job. I'm just going to quit on maternity leave. I'm going to start a business. And everyone thought I was absolutely insane. And through that journey, I was a virtual assistant and then an OBM. And then I started my agency in 2018. I started my agency when I finally decided to niche down because I was going through a divorce from my abusive ex-husband and I didn't have a choice. It was do or die in that season of my life. And so I decided that I was going to niche down and see what happened. And within 6 months, we were fully booked out. I officially had an agency and I was making enough money to basically survive with a 2-year-old at this point. And then in 2019, I was asked to be a keynote speaker at a conference. Now, mind you, when I had my agency and I was a virtual assistant and OBM, I was not the person on social media. I was not a personal brand. I didn't really use social media at all. I didn't show my face, but I agreed to stand on a stage in front of hundreds of women and give a keynote speech. And I said yes, and I hung up the phone. And then immediately I was just flooded with fear. I was like, oh my God, what did I just say yes to? What am I doing with my life? And needless to say, I did drink a wine shooter before I went up on that stage because I was so nervous, but it ended up changing my entire life. And after that, I had so many women asking me for coaching and mentorship. And I was like, sure, why not? You know, I've done this forever. I've helped tons of wedding professionals grow their business. And from there, I started coaching and I fell in love with the coaching industry. I fell in love with changing women's lives. And that morphed into what it is today. In 2021, I launched my first ever group coaching program and hit my first ever 6 figures. And since then, I have had 2 multi-6-figure businesses. Now I'm remarried. I've got 2 girls at home. I'm a full-time mom. I have no childcare. I have 2 kids at home with me. My husband's in law enforcement, so he is the childcare when I'm doing things like this. And I've been able to grow this business with my kids at home, no ads, 1 person on my team besides me, and made it work. Earlier this year, I went through a legal case and decided that I was going to shut down my business for 3 months while I went through a legal battle, which was the hardest but best 3 months of my life because it allowed me to fully immerse myself into motherhood and myself and to really decide, like, what do I love and not love about my business, which led me to where I am right now, which is the truth of building a business as a mother is so hard. It is hard. It is the hardest thing that I've ever done. I'm not going to cry. I'm a crier. I'm not going to cry today. And I have been through so many things from 23 to now 31 years old as a mother, as a human, as a business owner, that I want other women to experience a life for yourself. Experience a life that you love. Experience a life where you have choices and you have freedom and you have flexibility and you get to do things that most people don't get to do. My daughter recently and I were driving in the car and she said to me, there's a girl at school and I don't know if because my daughter's in an online school, but at home, she said, I don't know if her mom loves her because her mom goes to work all the time. My God, I felt horrible. I was like, no, like just because her mom goes to work doesn't mean she doesn't love her. And I explained to her, you know, how daddy goes to work all day and how we're very privileged to be in a place where mommy gets to be at home with you all day and also have a business. And I said, I had to fully have this conversation, but really put into perspective that this life is so much different than what other people experience. And while there's so many times I know that it's really hard and we want to quit and we want to give up because life is so hard and business is so hard, I want to remind you that this is a privilege for so many people, women specifically and mothers, that I would never have without this business. And then I get to pass it on to other women because for all of you here, you're all women, first of all. Most of you, if not all of you, are mothers. And every time I talk to a woman in business, her only goal is to take care of her family. Like, how selfless can you be to be the woman who wants to go out and change other people's lives, and also you always want to take care of other people? It's never about themselves. I've never met a woman in this industry who's like, it's solely about her. It's about what she can do for others. And so I want to invite you today to if you're going through a season of your life or your business where it feels like nothing is working and everything is hard, to look around at all the things you have today because of the life that you've built, but also like, how can you learn to love this season of your life and business? Because it's going to change your life now and forever, but it's also a privilege that so many people don't have. So let's get into the juicy. I'm so excited that you guys are here. I'm excited that you guys are taking this time for yourself, and obviously too that you've chosen me to be with, because there's tons of other coaches out here that you could choose to sit with for 90 minutes. And I'm just honored that you chose it to be me. So let's get into life first business approach. I just want to make sure first before I go on, are my slides changing? Can you see the life first approach? Perfect. Cool. Okay. After this, you guys will all have access to the slides. So don't worry, but also they're kind of just generic, to be honest, because I don't really do this. I don't do slides. Okay. Let's talk about a life first business. So I just kind of shared with you my life, my story, my journey. And that is the life first approach, is putting your life first, whether it's a season of life or it's the lifestyle you want to live, before deciding your business. And I made this mistake when I was a virtual assistant and then an OBM. I gave clients my cell phone number. I worked 40 to 60 hour weeks. I was at their beck and call because I needed money to put a roof over our head. And I didn't care at all about life first back then, because I was really thinking about survival first, if we're being true. Yes, life first business is chef's kiss. And after, what was it, about 4.5, 5 years of being in business and doing the 40 to 60 hour week, and at this time I only had my oldest daughter, who's now almost 8, which is crazy. I was like, I can't do this. It's not sustainable. I'm barely making 3 to 5K months. And I'm working so incredibly hard. And every time I would get a client, I would lose a client. I was strapped and capped on time and resources and money. And I needed a business that worked for my life. So there were very hard seasons where I felt like I'm either going to have to quit or something's going to have to change. Something's going to have to change at home with childcare or with what I do with my kids, because this isn't working anymore. Like I got into business to be at home with my kids and to have more time and freedom and flexibility with children. But in reality, I'm working so much, I don't even have time for my kids. And that's not what I got into this business to do. And so when I moved into coaching, that was where I decided I was going to build a life first approach to business. And then many times over and over and over, I've had to do it. Last year I had our second child. She's now almost 1.5. And I started the clock over with newborns and toddlers, and those schedules then changed again. And I've continuously had to create a business where I put that season of life first to decide my schedule and decide what I do and don't take on, and what I say yes to and what I say no to. And at one point I was the person who was doing all the things because I'm like a really big go-getter. And I had to turn back the dial and be like, I can't say yes to all these things anymore. It's just physically impossible. I have kids, and I have 2 kids at home, and I'm in toddler phase, and I'm in the newborn stage. And at one point, my health had taken a toll, and I had to truly decide, what am I going to do? Am I going to be a stay-at-home mom and live off my husband's income, even though he makes like 1/4 of what I make, which would be absolutely insane? We would move. We've talked about it many times. Am I going to get childcare? Am I going to put my child in school? And when we first went through this, when I shifted from agency into service provider, 2020 hit. And 2020 rained on everyone's parade, and life was very different. And at that point, I knew that I didn't want to send my kids to school after this. Like, I just didn't. I wanted them to be home. I wanted what I wanted first, which was the life that I wanted to build. But I also want my purpose. Like, I also want to follow my purpose and do what I love and help women and change other people's lives. I'm like, how do I make them both work? And I sat here today and told you it was easy, and that I didn't have screaming matches with my husband or even think about divorce over this, I would be lying, because it was that bad, trying to balance life and business and being the breadwinner and all the things. And then this year, in the 3-month break that I told you guys earlier, I had to come to Jesus with myself and with my very incredible OBM assistant / best friend about, you know what? This season of life will not be forever. This season of life is about having a smaller child, and being a mom. And while being a mom is for the rest of my life, the facts is that my kids are going to get older and then I'm not going to be in the season anymore. And then we're going to go through the missing it part and the guilt part, right? And so how do I just love the season of life and business that I'm in right now and make my business work for it? Work for that. So what I did was I changed my schedule to work on nap times. And while that's only a 2-hour stretch, whether it's a 1 2-hour stretch or 2 hours broken up into 1 hour each, how do I just make it work? I had to say no to a lot of things before. I found social and non-social strategies that worked, that allowed me to bring in leads, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, hundreds of leads per month without actually even creating content or being live on social media or doing live events. And then I was able to create offers that matched up with that schedule, with that lifestyle. This was so breathtaking for me, honestly. It was like I had been lifted free from this cage I put myself in of like, I have to be the coach that is the go-getter who does all the things and is growing and scaling really fast. And up until this point, we've grown sustainably, right? Versus looking at the other people in the industry of, well, she doesn't even have kids and she has a nanny and she has this and she has a rich husband and she has a trust fund and why can't it happen for me? And just saying, you know what, this season of life, it's not about that for me. How can I make it work with what I have right now? Because it will change in 6 months, in 12 months, in 2 years, in 3 years. It will be a very different business model. But how do I make it work right now? Okay. And that was what I started with, was the life first approach. So in coach school, the life first approach, which we're going to go back through again but right as we start our live offer series, when our new people join us, is, do you even know what you want your life to look like? I've asked this question so many times, is like, what does your dream life look like? What does your dream schedule look like? Like, what are you going to do with your time? And what are you going to do with that money? How much money do you want to have? And why do you want to have it? And where is it going to go? And when I ask those questions, sometimes my women don't even know. They don't even have an answer. Like, I don't even know what my dream schedule would look like. Or they just pick something because they're like, that sounds good. It sounds flashy. It sounds like what everyone else says they want. You know, like the 10K months and the 100K years and a 6-figure coach and don't work on the Fridays or whatever. But it's like, is that what you want? And why do you want those things? Right? I recently, even Taylor and I talked about, she told me at one point when I had asked her when she was in coach school what her dream schedule in life would look like, she had no idea. And then she went through lots of life and business transitions and pivots over the last year. And now she's like, now more than ever, it makes so much sense of why my business has to look this way based on the time I do or don't have, based on the season of life that my kids are in. And what I want now has changed. So when you're auditing, before you even go into offers, before you even go into lead gen and strategies and content, before we even get into the nitty gritty and the data, it's like, what are we working towards and why is it important to you? Because this is what you're going to have to lean on every single time that it's hard, is this. Every single time life is hard and business is hard and I don't want to show up and I don't want to do anything and I don't want to be on social media and I don't want to create more content. No one even cares what I say. Every time I go there, because you still go there even when you're at 6 and multi-6 figures, your brain will still offer you those thoughts. I have to go back to the fact that I get to keep my 2 kids at home with me and keep them safe with me. And I have all the bills paid and I don't have to overly worry about budgeting for groceries, which is such a luxury nowadays, to have all of your bills paid and not have to worry about finances and keep your kids at home. That why would I ever give this up? Yeah, content is hard, but you know what's harder? Going back to a 9 to 5 or sending my kids to public school. So we have to look at, what is the life we're working for and why? Why is it so important to us? What is the life that you want to create? And then we're going to close the gap on that. Because the thing is, a lot of times we think, once I get the money and once I get the time, then I'll design this dream life. No, you won't. You won't. I thought that too. And I was like, when I hit 6 figures, everything's going to change. Nothing changed. I still worked just as long and just as hard, and I still had shitty thoughts, and I still worried, and I still stressed out. Even after multi-6 figures, I still have bad days, and I still cry, and I still get frustrated. It doesn't change. But when you put your intentions first, and you say, this is the life I'm working towards, and this is how I'm going to do it, and then you put a plan towards it, then you're going to get there. But if you're like, well, I'm not going to invest until I get to this amount of money or I get another client. But then once you get that amount of money, why would you invest in this anyway? The point of investing is to stretch yourself. right? We're always trying to do it backwards. So life first approach to business is deciding for yourself, what is your future? So
Okay, so let's get into building your life first business approach. So, I would love for all of you to get out a pen, a piece of paper, pause this if you need to, and take 5, 10 minutes and just start writing. Write down all the things that you want, goals, accomplishments, things that you want to have in your life, whether that's more free time, more flexibility. But I want you to get a little bit specific. I want you to be very clear on what are the days I want to work? What are the days that I can work? What are the days that I want to take off? What time of the day do I want to take off? I want you to write if you prefer to work your hours in the morning, the afternoon, or maybe a split of both. So, for example, now that I have a second daughter, and she's only 1.5. She takes 2 naps per day, and her naps are 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the afternoon. And then some days she'll just do 1 nap midday for 2 hours. Now, if I know that I have a meeting on that day, let's say at 9:30, then I will make sure that she gets up at the appropriate time to go down for that 9:30 nap. And then she'll get up and then she'll go back down in the afternoon. Versus if I don't have meetings that day, then I will let her sleep in the mornings, take a 2 hour stretch in the afternoon, and then I can set up my days of the week based on, am I going to have 2 1 hour blocks or 1 2 hour block? Now, that's the season of life that I'm in. So you have to know for you, what is the season of life that you're in? Do you have toddlers, newborn? Are you about to take maternity leave? Like, knowing that season of life is going to help you structure your business so well, while also then determining what do you want your days to look like. Now, when I ask you this, the question, what I'm looking for is, how much time do you have in your life or business to work? So you're either probably working way too much and you want more time with your family, or you want more time with your kids, or you don't have a lot of time and you want to know exactly what to do in that time to maximize what you should be doing to move the needle in your business. But the first thing we have to know is more about you and your life and the season of life that you're in and what you want to have, and that what you want your business to look like. You have to know, what hours are we working with each week. So for me, I'm working with Monday through Thursday as my work days and those 2 hour blocks. Now, if I'm doing something special in my business, if I'm prepping for something huge, if I'm prepping for a launch, if I'm working on like maybe a bigger project, then yeah, sure, maybe there's going to be days that I get up earlier in the morning before my kids and I work, because honestly, sometimes I like it. Sometimes I'd like to get up for 2 hours and just crank out work before they get up, because then it's quiet time, it's peace. It's like, I know that I have this time to myself. However, that's not something I do on a regular basis, right? Like a regular basis, it's the 2 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. Fridays are my flex days. So on Fridays, it's like if I have any catch up work to do, if I put anything off, if I didn't get something done during the week, maybe I'll work on it on Fridays, but I don't ever do meetings on Fridays. I typically do all my meetings Mondays and Thursdays, and sometimes a Tuesday morning for my mastermind. So, and then the last week of the month, I don't do any meetings at all. I do just a dead week. So that last week of the month is 8 to 10 hours that the only thing I work on is my business. I admin, catch up, prepping new offers, launching, maybe scheduling content out for the month, because that gives me a full 8 to 10 hours just to work on my business. Where the other 3 weeks of the month, some of those hours are held for meetings, podcast interviews, collaborations, etc. So the first thing to do is take 5 to 10 minutes and write all the things. If you prefer mornings, if you prefer afternoons, if you prefer a little in the morning and a little in the afternoon, if you have certain days or hours that you know you can get work in, or maybe you need to create those hours of like, this is when I will do my work and this is when I will spend time with my family, and really creating that balance between the two. Now, the second piece of this is getting clear on the income that you want to make. Now, this is really important to decide, how much money do I absolutely need to make to cover my life, business, and or both expenses? So what I like to do is have a running spreadsheet of all my life expenses, all my business expenses, adding that up to know exactly how much money I have to make every single month to stay afloat. And then using that number to then guide me on how much money extra do I want to make for savings or my business savings or taxes or whatever that looks like. So calculate that number and get really super clear on how much money you actually need to make versus how much money you want to make, right? And I think that for us, then it shows us like this is the money I have to bring in each month to keep my business in the green versus in the red. And then also, this is how much money I would like to make for X, Y, and Z. So maybe you're like, I'm going to buy a house this year. I'm going to go on a trip this year or this month, or I want to hire this coach. Then you need to be adding in how much money extra you need to be making per month to cover those expenses. And that's going to guide us to decide how you set up the next part of your business, which is your offers. So I would pause right here and go do that before coming back into this strategy. Now, this part of the class is all about your offer strategy. We have to know your time blocks. We have to know how much time you have each day to work. And then we also need to know how much you want to work, when you want to work, and how much money you want and need to make. This will drive the strategy for your offer. So I have two parts. Offer strategies in two parts. Number one, the first part is knowing your life, knowing your lifestyle, knowing your season of life, how much time you have and the money you want to make. So the exercise we just went through. And then the second part is deciding long term. If you're going to do a long-term strategy, a long-term offer, like maybe 6 to 12 months, and that's going to be your signature offer. Do you prefer short offers? So then every month you're launching a new pop-up offer. Do you like low ticket, high ticket, or do you want to have a mix of both in your offer suite? How many offers do you want to have? How many hours per week can you actually hold coaching calls or coaching sessions or coach people in Slack or Facebook or whatever platform you choose? Who does your offer serve and how does it serve them? What is the outcome of your offer? And how much are you going to charge? So whenever I'm doing an audit for someone's business, I always look at these two pieces. So the exercise we just did, and then I'll look at their offers and I'll look at how many offers do you have? How much support do you offer? How long is the offer? How often do you show up to market and sell the offer? How many calls are in there? How much does it cost? This is going to tell me right away if you have an aligned business model or not, because you either have just offers that have nothing to do with your goals and you just thought, well, this is what I should be doing, or you put together offers based on what someone else told you to do that has absolutely nothing to do with your life, your season of life, how much time you have, your business model that you want to have, the money that you want to make. And then so often I say, well, no wonder it's not working. No wonder you're not making the money you want to make. It's very clear. It's right here, the way that you laid out your business. It's very clear that your strategy is not matching your desires, right? It's not matching what you want, or it's not matching the time that you actually have. So, what I suggest doing after you've done the first exercise is then going in and auditing your own offers. Does this actually align? Can I actually hit this number? So, what I like to do is, let's say that you need to make $5,000 a month to stay afloat, but you really want to make $10,000 a month. And let's say that your program and your offer, let's say your offer, it's only $1,000 for 6 months. Now, this is absolutely insane. I would never tell anyone to charge that little of amount because let's see, that would only be how much per month? It's only $166 a month, which is not not a good price. So let's say it's $100 for 6 months, meaning that you make $166 per month and you want to make 5,000, you have to make $5,000. That means you need 30 people a month just to hit 5K. And then you would need what, 60 per month? You'd need more than that. You would need like 61 people a month to hit 10K. Not sustainable, not likely going to happen. I don't average 30 to 60 clients per month, even at this level, right? So we want to say, okay, if I want to make $5,000 or to 10 a month, what if your offer is $5,000 for 6 months or $5,000 even for the year? So now you have a $5,000 program for the year for 12 months. And the payments on that are $416, but let's do a payment plan of like $450. Let's just say $450 a month. So we're going to take 5,000 divided by 450. And that means you need 11 people a month on payment plan. 11 people a month on payment plan would give you 5K. Or you could do, let's see, for 10K, you would need 22 people. Again, 22 people a month is attainable after a certain amount of time. Like once you started selling your offer for 6 to 12 months, you can definitely get that amount of people. But are you going to get that amount of people right away? Probably not. So then I would say, okay, well, what if your program was, let's see, $7,500 a year? Now, mind you, this is not going to be the only program you have. This is just one of your offers. Maybe this is like your highest ticket signature offer. And typically what I do is I do a number of offers, one of them, at least one of them being high ticket, somewhere between 5 to 10K for this one signature offer. And then I decide how often am I going to sell it. So for Coach School, $7,500 offer that's now a $10,000 offer, selling it 3 to 4 times a year with 10 spots open gives me 30 to 40 students at 10K is 300 to 400K a year, right? That would make up a majority of my business income. And then throughout the year, I could decide, like, do I want to take time off from selling? Let's say I hit all of my launch goals and I fill 10 seats every round. Now I could say, okay, well, do I want to push harder, add in more offers and do more launches? Or do I just want to be satisfied with 300 to 400K per year and take time off and enjoy my life? And I only had to do 3 launches per year, right? Like that makes life really easy for me to, and then I've secured income for the next 12 months because my payment plans are 12 months long. So now I'm stacking monthly recurring revenue and I've had just 3 launches a year. So then if your program is $7,500 divided by 12, that's 625. Let's say your payments are 650 and you want to hit 5K, you'd only need 7 to 8 people a month, right? Like way more attainable. So we want to always look at how much are we charging versus how much we need to make? How much are we charging versus how much we want to make? Do you need to raise your prices? Do you need to add in more offers? Do you need to add in more launches? And then we also need to look at how many students can you actually hold and coach at one time? So for me, I can easily coach 30 to 40 people per year. I can coach them in group coaching. Every week we do 1 call on Mondays, and then we do 2 Thursday calls a month. So we average about 5 Zoom calls a month, and that is plenty. 5 hours is plenty per month to coach that many people and give everyone enough time to get coached. And we also have to remember that not every student shows up to every single call. And then throughout the week, I Slack coach 3 times a week on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. So then I'm looking at how many hours I'm averaging per week with students. It averages somewhere between 3 to 5 hours a week. And usually it's even less than that. Usually it's only like a little under 3 hours a week, like 2.75 hours a week. And that not only is a very minimal time per week, but also that allows me to coach 30 to 40 people, still hit my income goals, and still meet my goals for my schedule. It still allows me to take Fridays off, afternoons off, be at home with my kids, no weekends, etc. That's just with one offer. So my advice to you is usually to start with one high ticket signature offer first and being able to get really good at articulating who it helps, how it helps them, what your step-by-step process and framework is, what is the outcome of your program, what is your program promise, and getting really good at that messaging and marketing and articulating that offer to sell it and fill it to hit your goals. What I like to do is take all of my income goals and try to meet it with one offer. And then after that, allowing like playtime, creative time, freedom to create more offers, to say, okay, now I'm going to add in maybe a lower ticket offer that's more self-paced, or a course that allows people to come through. And maybe I'm going to be able to make passive income through that. Or maybe I'm going to have a higher ticket mastermind for all the students who came through this program. Now I can offer them the mastermind. So now I'm taking all the students that just went through this offer, and they could either renew another year in the same offer, or they could bump up to another offer, which is a higher ticket mastermind. Now I'm extending how long I get to work with a client. So let's say I have a course and it's self-paced and it's to $1,500. And then they finish that and then they come to coach school for $10,000. And then they finish that year and then they come to mastermind for another year. I've probably averaged 2.5 to 3 years with one client. Now I've had clients even that sign up for coach school for 2 and 3 years at a time. So now I'm even maximizing more years with the same clients. So, what I would suggest doing is having some kind of business model that reflects the life you want to live, the season you're in, how much you can work, how much you want and need to make, and then also how can we capitalize on the students you currently have, or how can we keep them in here longer. Then, once we have decided all of that, we've created your offer, we know who it helps, we know your niche, we know your signature framework, we know the outcome of your program, then we work on your strategies for growth. So this, for me, in this training, we're going to talk about non-social strategies, but I do both. So what I like to do is my non-social strategies for lead gen. And then that drives new leads into my email list and onto my social media. And then I use my podcast, my email list, and my social media to connect and to build trust and like and know with these leads to then convert them to buyers. So you need to have a lead gen strategy and then a marketing and sales strategy. And I think a lot of people think social media in itself is all in one. And what I've found to be true is it's actually really hard and slow growth to get new leads on social media. And it's a lot faster to get leads through collaborations and non social strategies. So, what I like to do is lead gen for non social strategies, averaging 50 to sometimes upwards of like 1,000 leads a month from collaborations, taking all of those leads to my email list, my podcast, and my social, and then nurturing them and getting them to know me, like me, trust me, giving them value, giving them story, giving them classes and freebies and downloads and tons of value and information, and also selling to them consistently to get them into my offers. So again, you have to know the other two parts of this training. You have to know first the life, the schedule, and then you have to also know the offers before we get into your lead gen strategies. Because when we go out to do collaborations, which is the number one strategy I'm going to talk about today, you have to know who you actually serve, right? You have to know your niche. Because then when we go out to look for collaborations, we only want to look for collaborations of people who are in your niche. So what this would look like is number one, let's say you decide that your niche is moms. That's my niche, is moms. And then even further into my niche is moms who coach or have a coaching business or want a coaching business. So now I'm crystal clear on who I'm looking for. So then when I am searching for people to collaborate with every single month, and I usually schedule 2 to 3 collaborations per month, which I will tell you what those look like in just a second, then I'm going out and looking for those. What I'm looking for is other people who share the same audience. So they usually don't do what I do, right? I do something very specific. I'm a business and certified life coach for moms who coach or want to coach. And my focus is on life first approach, offers, and social media, non social media growth strategies. Obviously, it's what I'm teaching here. But maybe there's other people in the industry who coach moms on taxes, who coach moms on fitness, who coach moms on health and wellness or postpartum. Maybe I'm going to work with a doula, because the thing is we probably share a lot of same or similar audiences, but we do two completely different things. So now we're bringing the value of what they do and the value of what I do into one place for the same people. So when I am going out to search for collaborations, what I'm looking for is number one, podcasts to be on, or someone who could be on my podcast, or maybe we could even swap and I go on theirs and they go on mine. So we're doubling down on cross promotion. The second thing I look for is guest coaching. So does someone have a community, a membership, a program where I can come in as a guest and speak to their audience? Because this is going to be really great to get in front of new people and show them what I do and give them more value. When I go on someone's podcast too, I like to offer something for free. So whether it's this masterclass, a free download, some kind of free training to give them even more value, to get to like, know, trust me, know what I do, who I help, and what I do. And then the other way I like to do it is through bundles and summits. So usually 1 to 2 times per month, we schedule out bundles and summits that I'm a part of, and that drives about at least 100 leads per event. And what I do again is I offer something like this training, or I offer something of value to that summit or to that bundle where I can give them, again, like how much more value can I give? And then now they're in my world. Now they're on my email list. Now that you've gone through this class, now you're learning more about my expertise. And if then when I'm getting 50 to 1,000 leads a month to go through this masterclass, or to go get my free download, or to go to my podcast and binge my episodes and come to my social media and see what I'm doing and see what I'm talking about and see what I'm selling, now I have a greater chance of people to sell to. Now I am very much so growing my audience, growing my lead gen strategy, and then worrying about my content strategy, right? Because if we post content and we write all the emails and we schedule all the podcasts, but we don't have anyone who we're actually talking to, we don't even know who we're talking to, we have nobody, there's like 5 people that found us on Instagram, the chances of us making sales is slim to none. So, in order to make more money in your business, the number one thing you have to focus on is getting leads in the door. And this could even be a strategy where you focus on lead generation and then what to do with those leads for 6 months. So, for 6 months, you're worried about leads, 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 leads. Let's say you get 100 leads a month for 6 months. Now you have 600 new people in your world. And then you focus on, how can I love and nurture and give them so much value for being here? How can I speak to directly what they want and what they need and what I'm good at and my strategies? And how can I show them their gaps in their business? How can I show them that I'm the trusted coach to work with? And I can guarantee you, you could probably get at least 10 sales out of 600 people, right? And if we got 10 sales and our program, our one high ticket program is 10K, you've just made $100,000. Even if you have a $5,000 program, you sell 20 people per year, which is less than 2 people a month. You now have a 6-figure business with one offer on limited time, and you only have to get 20 people in your world, which you can absolutely do. 20 people in 1 year is so simple, so easy, right? We have to be working smarter. We have to be working based around that schedule you made, that season of life you're in. So it's like, what would I do every single day in my business if I only had 2 hours? Number one, I would be making sure that I am going out and finding collaborations to be a part of. I am pitching them. This should take you, I would say you could take 30 minutes, 60 minutes a week, and just find all the people you could collaborate with. Put them in a spreadsheet. 60 minutes a week. And the only thing you focus on is finding people to collaborate with. The next block of time, 30 to 60 minutes, you look at, how could I give them something of value, and writing a pitch. Your pitch could be easily crafted where you just have to tweak certain parts of it. You don't have to come up with a brand new pitch for every single person you collaborate with. So what this could look like is you find a podcast and you share similar audiences. So what we want to look at is, who is this person? What do they do? Who do they help? How do they help them? Now, what do I do? Who do I help? And how do I help them? So when I'm crafting my pitch, what I'm talking about is, I saw that you have a podcast. I recently listened to X episode and I absolutely loved it. I see that you help blank niche, and I also too help blank niche, and I would love to collaborate together. I would love to come on your podcast where I talk about blank topic, which I think would provide X, Y, and Z value to your audience. Is this something you'd be interested in? That's a really easy pitch to write, fill in the blanks, and send that out to 20, 30, 40, 50 podcast people every however many months. And more than likely, you're going to book probably a third, if not half of those podcasts. You can do the same thing with collaborations. There's also Facebook groups. There's tons of places to find people to collaborate with and be a part of their summits and their bundles. And then once you start doing it, people start just reaching out to you to be a part of it. Inside Coach School, this is exactly what we do. We not only identify your dream life, what you want to do, the life you want to have, the schedule you want to have, how much money you want to make, how much money you need to make. But then we also talk about how to maximize your time every single day to move the needle. And we also refine all of your goals, life and business, so that you are super crystal clear on what needs a yes and no in your life right now based on the season of life that you're in. We then talk about your offers, low ticket to high ticket, whether you're going to do a course, membership, group, mastermind, or maybe a mix of all of those. If you're going to do a one-time offer, short-term, long-term, mix of both, what your signature offer is, front end and back end selling, and also we're going to talk about up and down selling. We also talk about types of bonuses that you could offer within your launches and how to launch and where to launch. And then how to choose the most perfect offers for your business model based on the season of life that you're in and your personality. Then we talk about your social strategies, your lead gen strategies, how to create the most perfect freebie, where to find collaborations in different types, how to create your own collaboration, how to pitch collaborations, what to do with leads once you get them, Pinterest marketing, referrals, affiliates, guest speaking, networking, live events, and even press articles. We cover it all inside Coach School. Okay. Coach School is for women. It's for moms who want to grow their coaching business. You feel stuck, maybe you feel overwhelmed, you don't know what to do with your limited time, and you feel like there's so many people in the industry and so many people telling you what to do that you just want the plan. You want the strategy. You're tired of sacrificing your time with your family just to chase trends and make ends meet. You're finally ready to build a six-figure business without being glued to social media all the time. You want to get 100 plus leads per month from collaborations. You're tired that your business isn't growing because you feel like you don't have enough time and you want that clear step-by-step process. That is what we do. So inside, I just covered exactly what we're going to cover inside the program. What we do is weekly Zoom calls, 1 to 2 times a week, live classes where I'm teaching something similar to this and I go deep in with my clients, one-to-one and group coaching, Slack coaching 3 times a week where you can ask any questions and get them covered, self-paced portal with more than 60 trainings, quarterly workshops, and bonus courses and mini courses are included. So now is your time to join. You have limited time to get in there. Here is a screen of what other clients have said about Coach School. You can also see on our sales page lots of other testimonials. We've had women hit 6 figures with kids at home, women hit 6 figures taking summers off to be with their kids, women who homeschool, women who have toddlers, women who have kids, but their kids are even in daycare or in school. We have women who have hit 90K in 6 months. We've had women who have taken full maternity leaves. We have women who are finally building a business that they love, that they truly, truly love. So now I want to invite you to apply for the Coach School. Once you apply within 48 hours or less business hours, you will hear back from me whether you have been accepted or denied. And if you're accepted, you then will receive your special link to pay and join and get immediate access into the program. We take limited spots every single quarter and year because I'm doing lots of one-to-one coaching. I have to keep the rooms very short, sweet, tight. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Feel free to DM me on Instagram at @itstaydaniels_LLC or just submit your application and I am happy to chat with you. Thank you guys so much for being here and get inside of Coach School.